Am I the a-hole stories? Am I the a-hole for basically helping my ex-brother-in-law get full custody? Background: sister and brother-in-law were married 10 years, together 14. They have 2 girls, 7 and 5. Everything seemed good, till one night she came home, threw him out and divorced him. I let him stay with me till he got his own house again, 2 months. Finally, she told us why. She had been cheating for years and didn't want to be tied down anymore. She tried to deny paternity, he proved paternity, thus court refused her alimony, as her trying to deny was proof of infidelity. They got 50-50, so no child support, but he offered to keep paying for daycare so she could still work. He is working from home. I was laid off for COVID with a definitive return to work date. She didn't want to use the daycare, so I watched them. I reminded her of when I was returning to work constantly. Sure enough, first day back, I get an angry call at 8 a.m. cause I'm not home to watch the girls. In my job, I work 8 to 4. There is a 10-minute grace period, then a sub takes your place and you lose the shift. She works 9 to 5 2 blocks away from the daycare that opens at 8. I work 30-ish minutes away. I always get up between 6:30 and 6:45. Next day I wake up, and the girls are in my living room. Sister wouldn't answer the phone. I had to miss the shift. She promises it won't happen again. Happens the next day. Another promise. Next 2 weeks, brother-in-law has them, so no issue. I figured she'd pull some shenanigan again, so I got up at 6:15. I hear a knock at the door. It's the girls. My sister dropped them off and told them not to knock till she drove away. I miss my shift for the 3rd time, next time I get a write-up. The next day I'm up at 6. I see the girls get out of the car, and she drives away while I'm heading outside. So, I called ex-brother-in-law and he comes to watch them. This went on for 2 weeks. At the end of which, he asks me to initial a log. Now I figured he was trying to get more custody, but I mean, he's basically watching them every day anyways. 3 days later, I am summoned to court. Judge asks me about the situation. I told the truth. I am not about to lie to a judge. 2 days later, I'm at my parents and sister comes in screaming. Ex-brother-in-law actually went for full custody and won. She's been deemed a negligent parent, whose actions pose a threat to her children's safety. Leaving them with a sleeping adult who doesn't know they're there, or on a doorstep, was unacceptable. She now has to pay him child support and is currently only allowed supervised visitation. She blames me because I signed the log, and without that, brother-in-law would have had no proof. I told her the judge wasn't wrong. What if I had gone to work early? Anything could have happened to those girls. Several family members have weighed in, saying I shouldn't have agreed to sign the log, and there were other ways he could have done it, but I didn't have to give him a helping hand, and now she's lost her kids, and it's my fault for siding with him instead of my own sister. I'm starting to feel guilty as this is coming from people I love whose opinions I value. Now for the top comments. You're right. She lost her kids. It was her terrible parenting and irresponsibility that took her kids from her, not any action of yours. Between the two of them, I would definitely say your brother-in-law is the more deserving parent. They'll have a stabler home with him. Not the a-hole. You're a better uncle than she is a mother. He was more than happy to watch them. He started just getting up early in case I called. I asked if he could just take them to the daycare for me, and he said no. He'd rather spend the day with them if he had the chance. Honestly, he's such a good dad. Even now he's allowing supervised visits every weekend. Courts have to change it to unsupervised because of the court's finding. He doesn't get a say in that. Obviously, these family members gaslighting you were not being asked to provide childcare, were they? If they were so concerned, they should have quit their jobs and offered to. Additionally, she refused daycare. Any family member who would support child neglect is an a-hole, especially when daycare was an option. You need to come down on these people hard and fast. Don't be a doormat. Not the a-hole. I brought that up to them, that what the judge said was right. If I hadn't have been home, the girls had no way of reaching anyone once mom drove off, and she would have never known. Anything could have happened. I asked them how they would feel if the girls were kidnapped, or went missing cause their mother left them on my doorstep, without knowing if I was even home or not, and they said they would of course feel awful. But I could have just waited for ex-Bill to go to court and get summoned as a witness. I didn't need to sign the log. I'm starting to feel like they had a point in that one. Not the a-hole. I told you for weeks, months, however long it was, that I'm going back to work after a certain date, and you not only neglected your children, but you endangered my employment. If you bring this up one more time, I will take you to small claims for the money I've lost. If I were in your shoes, I'd be doing that, or, because they likely have better resources, rat her out to my agency. I provide interim and supply work, and have been off only out of term time for the last 16 months. I would also ask anyone who takes your sister's side, if they'd like to back pay you for lost wages and the cost of you babysitting your nieces. They'll likely shut up if it is coming out of their pocket. Also, I would consider asking her ex if he'll provide a copy of the evidence for your job, to try and get that write-up rescinded if you haven't already. I never thought of asking for proof. I didn't end up getting a write-up, but it is noted in my file that I was absent. If his lawyer will write something to the effect of having to stay home to prevent children being endangered, they may discount those absences. Thank you for the suggestion. The next story is titled, "Am I the a-hole for continuing to include brother's ex-stepson in my family's stuff?" To start off, my brother Brad and I don't see each other too often, so we're not that close. 5 years ago, he married a single mom who had a 9-year-old son, Michael. It was a surprise because he was always so dead set on being child-free. First time we met his family, it was obvious he didn't have a change of heart about kids when I noticed how he wouldn't interact with Michael at all, and practically ignored his existence. A year into the marriage, Brad sometimes vented to me about how annoying it is having Michael around 24/7, which didn't feel right to me. There was some back and forth arguing between us, about why he would marry someone with a kid if he hates kids, when all it's doing is making him miserable and hurting an innocent child who's not at fault. One time, Brad asked me if I could take Michael with me and my sons on a camping trip we were going on for the weekend, because he absolutely needed this free time. I agreed, and we all ended up having a great time. Michael's a shy and timid kid, but once we were out there, he let himself open up. He's really sweet and kind. Couldn't believe this is the kid my brother constantly complained about like he was such a chore. I basically became the weekend babysitter sometimes, which I had no problem with. Michael and my sons loved hanging out, and we did lots of activities together. Last year when he and his ex divorced, I was worried about not being able to see Michael again. Of course, after years, we considered him family and didn't want to cut that off. I spoke with Brad's ex-wife and she was more than fine with Michael coming over every now and then to hang out with my sons. Michael was very happy to continue joining us for our outings, and even asked his mom if he could spend Thanksgiving with my family this year, just myself, my boys, and my wife. We video chatted with my parents during this, and they were surprised to see Michael there, but didn't comment since he was present. They obviously told Brad about it because he called me to complain about siding with his ex, and it's weird still letting Michael around my family, when he isn't legally family anymore. He said the divorce was hard enough already, without me still including his ex-wife's kid in my family stuff. I honestly couldn't believe he was acting this way, and said he's being completely ridiculous. He still thinks I'm somehow being a traitor for this. I've asked my other brother and parents to weigh in on this, but they also feel the same way. He's my brother, and there's no reason to still keep including Michael, when he's no longer part of the family. Seriously, I'm shocked that they would think it's okay to just drop Michael from my family's lives because my brother wants me to. I really don't see anything wrong with what we're doing, but now it's turned into a me versus the family scenario, and I'd like to know from others if I was being an a-hole here or not. Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. Adults should not let their feelings stand in the way of giving a child a good life. Yeah man, I agree. Like the post portrays, Michael is a good kid. It would be the a-hole move to just say that he can't hang out with his friends, the friends in this case being the poster's children. Not the a-hole. It's not like you're hanging out with his ex. Your kids are spending time together. Just because they aren't legally family anymore, doesn't mean they can't be friends. They didn't choose to break up. Him and his ex did. In the immortal words of Clueless, you divorce wives, not children. Not the a-hole. You are not the a-hole. You are giving a kid a safe place and kids to hang out with. You are not attacking your brother or family about the divorce. It sounds like your kids just have a friend they like to hang out with. The a-hole move would be to have just dropped Michael out of your lives. The next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my sister that I don't care if she is able to go to college or not? I have a 20-year-old adult sister. My sister is the party type, and parties any chance she gets. Last year, she got pregnant and had a child. She decided to keep it so she can make some Instagram posts and get famous. This year, my sister is home with the child. She drops the baby off at my room during my class and expects me to babysit the child, so she can do her college assignments. My mom is on her side. I am getting fed up because the baby is loud and annoying, so I drop it off in her room. Lately, my sister is calling me an a-hole for not wanting to take care of her child, and tried to guilt me into doing it, by saying that I will hold a woman back from going to college and passing. I told her I don't care about her going to or passing college. I then told her, maybe she should have thought about that before she had her child. She got my mom to side with her. My mom told me that she would disown me if I did not take care of the baby. I told my mom, if she wants her daughter to go to college, why don't she take care of her daughter's child? This shut my mom up. My mom told me that I am not longer her son, and to head to my father's. I told her I don't really care about being her son because she always favored my sister. Not the a-hole. My general rule is, not your baby, not your problem. Good luck. Seriously. Mom, you watch this child your sister had, or you can leave. I'm out. Mom, wait, that's not how that's supposed to go. Get back here and raise this kid. Too far away, can't hear you. Mom, someone raise this child for its mother, who is literally in the same house as her child. Cackles. Not the a-hole. Your sister wants to finish school, but so do you. Go to dad's, so much less drama then. Before you can get to dad's, lock your door during your classes. Not the a-hole. Golden child syndrome with an enabler parent. Having a kid for the social media clout? Why doesn't she drop the baby off to the baby daddy? Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for saying my life is tougher than my sister's, who is a stay-at-home mom? I, 28 female, am unmarried and my sister Susan, 37 female, is a stay-at-home mom to 4 children, 13, 11, 10 and 7. We stay in different states. She chose to become a stay-at-home mom to her 4 kids voluntarily. My brother-in-law earns very well, and they have quite a comfortable life, if that detail matters. Susan has always complained about how tough her life is, how hard it is to bring up 4 kids, and has compared it to my easy life. While it has always rubbed me the wrong way, I've never really said anything, because undoubtedly, it really must be hard bringing up 4 kids. Over the past few years, despite my parents, my other sister Lisa, and I living in the same state, Susan has always demanded we go to her place for Christmas because managing the kids is too hard, and being a mom is incredibly difficult. Last year, I even suggested a retreat that would have been equidistant for her and us, but she refused, saying it was just too hard, and I wouldn't understand since I don't have kids and am not married. This year, she expects me to make the trip to her place again. Pandemic anyone? I refused. I may not have 4 kids, but I have an extremely stressful job. I work about 60 hours a week, and I also do not have financial security that she does, to even risk taking a few days off, and have a significant amount of student debt to pay off. I studied abroad but I'm earning in local currency, so the gap is even harder to bridge. Also, Lisa has some health issues and therefore, I'm the one who does her grocery shopping and such as far as practicable, because it's unsafe for her to venture out now. When Susan demanded Lisa, my parents, and I, would have to come to her place again this year for Christmas, not to mention, I'll have to drive and pay for fuel, I point blank refused. She screamed at me and told me I'm selfish, and that I'd never know the amount of work it takes to be a mother, and that it was no surprise no guy wanted to marry me. I also lost my temper, and told her it isn't an achievement to give birth to 4 kids, that she doesn't have to worry about paying her rent or being able to afford her next meal, and there are plenty of life struggles that are tougher than having kids. Lisa is on my side, but she's always had a soft spot for me. My parents think I'm a huge a-hole disrespecting Susan, and are temporarily not speaking to me. So Reddit, I know it's hard to be a mom, but am I the a-hole? Will accept any judgment. Now for the judgment. Parenting can be a challenge, but when you are financially stable and your kids are healthy, it isn't that tough. A road trip with young kids isn't a picnic, but since her youngest is 7, it's not that hard. Your sister sounds entitled and she loves to play the victim, even if she isn't. It's about time someone told her the truth. Not the a-hole. Your sister sounds entitled and she loves to play the victim. 100%. At first, I thought, well, maybe she just wasn't sure what she was getting into and she may resent OP because OP's living her life on her own terms and she has a career and goals. I'm not dissing stay-at-home moms, just saying, one has clear career goals, The other is choosing to raise her family. Both have their pros and cons, but it just sounds like narcissism and consistently getting away with it after 13 years. Or maybe a mix of both. Who knows? Either way, not the a-hole. Especially in a pandemic. Not the a-hole. It was just a matter of time to snap at her. She compares your lives, which is rude as hell. Also, she seems not to know how it is for you, so how can she even compare? She just doesn't want to visit you because it's easier, or she can't handle her children. It's not like the children are little. If she was attempting to wrangle 4 under the age of 5, I might have sympathy, but the kids are old enough to manage themselves to a large degree. No diapers, they can feed themselves, dress themselves, entertain themselves and each other. Sister needs to get over herself. Definitely not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Your sister sounds insufferable. Her kids are teens and almost teens. If they're disabled or poorly behaved, that's unfortunate. But if she's not dealing with that, the only thing unfortunate is her terrible, self-centered attitude. Stick to your guns and refuse to go. And that's it for this video, guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day, everyone.